This is the barbell front squat, so I'll show a few reps, then we'll break it down. All right, so a couple things here on the front squat. The first, probably most common one, is gripping the bar in this position. So I've found if you're a little bit patient, try different grips, most people, outside of maybe a wrist surgery, can get comfortable in a front squat, and doing it this way will be safer and stronger in the long term. So the goal, if you get your arms like this, is to get the bar resting not on the bone, but on the muscle. It's called the deltoid right here. So that's kind of right there. It's not on the bone, it's on the deltoid, and it's very close, if not gently brushing my neck. So I'm not pushing in and cutting off my airway, but if it's too far from my neck, it's just gonna slide down, and that's where I get a lot of pressure into the wrists and fingers. If we get it on this shelf, then there's a lot less pressure in my hands. So my wrists are a light stretch, but nothing crazy. If this comes down an inch, man, that's a lot of tension in my wrists. So for me, it's gently touching my neck. Another thing is my wrists are a little bit tight. So they kind of get to 90 degrees, working on it. But I can still do front squat with no discomfort because I don't have my whole hand on the bar. So whole hand on the bar looks like this. That's gonna limit my mobility, and I can barely get to that shelf. If that's you, we can hold the bar with 3 fingers, 2 fingers, or even 1 finger, although I prefer at least 2 for stability. So when I get just these 2 under there, that reduces the mobility demands, and this is a whole lot more comfortable. And because the stability from the bar is really coming from being on that little shelf, not from a tight grip. So that's sometimes kind of a head trip if it's your first time doing it. You want to death grip the bar. So really the bar should be stable in this position if, and this is the next technique cue, I keep my elbows high. So I'm trying to point my elbows right at the camera, and then that's going to keep the bar there. If my elbows come down, now that bar is going to start to slide, and it both hurts and feels unstable. So keeping elbows up. Then as we get our squat stance, I'm going to squat down. I'm thinking about going straight down, knees gently pushing out, and I'm fighting to keep my elbows up the whole time. So this is an active position where I'm working to keep my elbows up, because otherwise I'm going to come forward and drop the weight. So we want to have an active driving the elbows up the whole time through the squat. What that's going to do, and why we love the front squat, it tends to engage quite a bit of upper body musculature, but also your core musculature. So it's not uncommon to finish a day of front squatting and tomorrow have some soreness through the core and the abdomen. A couple more cues unique to the front squat. As I come in, typically we're going to stay more vertical, but depending on your thoracic mobility, you might start to dump forward. So your depth may or may not be the same as your back squat. You'll just have to feel that out. And how we look at depth is, I don't want the heels coming up, and I don't want the back rounding, which you can't see from this angle, but we don't want the back rounding at the bottom. If we start to see those things, we might do a number of things. Might put a little heel lift there, might introduce some stability with a band, might use a box as kind of some depth there. We go over all of those things in our back squat video. So other than the grip, elbows high, core engagement, a lot of the squat mechanics are the same as a back squat. So if you're still struggling to get the position, recommend you check that video out and apply those things to your front squat.